Alright, welcome to another Button Pushers United tutorial. I'm Luke, and today we're going to be talking about two super sweet keyboard hacks for MIDI controllerists using Ableton and Reason Rewire. This tip is all about switching between loads of sounds and patches, getting you off the screen and focusing on what matters, the music. So, let's jump right into it. First thing we want to do is hop right into Reason. You can see right here what I did is I set up a combinator. There's 3 of them, and they're all routed into the back. So what I did is that I have combinator 1, and I took the output from there to output 1 right here, 1 and 2, and for combinator 2 went from the outputs of combinator 1 and 2 to outputs 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. Combinator 3 going to 5 and 6. So why might we do this, you ask? Well, what we're going to do is that we're going to be setting up an individual channel for each sound we have and enabling us to switch between them and combine the sounds on the fly in Ableton Live. So switching over to Ableton Live, what we're going to do is we're going to create an external instrument. And we're going to make one for each one of our combinators. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go down here to the MIDI 2, set that to Reason, and then we're going to set it to each one of the combinators and their respective outputs. And this can be a little tedious at times, but it's got to get done. So keep moving. And last one, here we go. Combinator 3, there you are, 5 and 6. So pretty much now, we're already set up to go. Everything's routed correctly, and if we just play a quick chord here, woo, that's real hot. Let's go ahead and turn these down. Let's drop the gain. Sometimes this happens. If you use Reason, that gain can be really hot, so sometimes it's just nice to bring it down a tad right here. External instrument is really handy for being able to do that. So let's try that chord again. Now I've got one instrument coming through, but I want to be able to play all of them. So really simple, we're going to do some quick MIDI mapping. It's going to allow us to turn them on and off. I've got the MIDI map key turned on, and I'm going to click each one of these on-off switches and assign it to one of the buttons on my controller. So I'll click this one right here, boom. I'm going to click the number 2, hit the next pad I want, hit number 3, next pad. So that's all set up. You can see that if I hit each pad, it turns them on and off. But for this to really take hold and work, we have to record and enable each one of these. So in your session, what you can do is have each one of these already record enabled. I think that's the smarter way to do it. You could theoretically MIDI map each one, but that just kind of becomes cumbersome. I think it's much easier to just send MIDI data to all of them, turn them on and off as you need them. Alrighty, so now we should be able to hear all 3 of them. Yeah, maybe a little mixing is required. Bring that one down a little bit. And there you have it. You could take this a step further. If you decided that the workflow for just turning on the record buttons is better for you, just delete these and then assign these to those buttons once again. And this might be a little easier for some people. The other thing that you can do is you can set each one of these levels to a encoder, and you could also set these sends to an encoder. So I'll do that too. And we'll see if they work. The knobs in this particular controller that I have been acting kind of funny lately, so we'll see what happens. So let's give them all a test. 1, 2, 3. So I can just have one at a time if I want. Nifty. And if I turn this encoder right here, yep, I'm able to change the level. Hopefully your controller is not as buggy as this one is. So that's really nice. And then I should also be able to turn up that reverb level. There you go. So this was an issue that I was talking about. See how I'm hitting each one of these buttons? Unless I'm holding down control on the keyboard, even in this situation, it's not working. I'm not going to be able to have all three of them at once. And that's why I prefer the power button approach. So let's talk about the second method, start all over. So first thing you're going to do is that you're going to create a combinator. So that's right click in the void, utilities, combinator. In here, we're going to go ahead and create a mixer 14:2. And now let's drop in some devices. I think I'm just going to throw in a Thor. That's fine. And they should automatically route. Let's insert a couple more and check that. Insert another one. Set that to another different sound, different preset, and one more. We'll do 3 again. Different preset, just running through the factory ones right here. And yep, Thor 1, 2, 3. Hit tab to flip that around, and you'll see that they're all routed to the respective channels. And now what we're going to do is we are going to assign some programming. So you click this button right here on the combinator for Show Programmer. And we're going to turn on and off the mute buttons for each one of these channels. So I'm going to go with button 1, 2, and 3 for my mutes. So right here, button 1, going to go to mute, channel 1 mute, 2, channel 2 mute, 3, channel 3 mute. And to have access to the levels, I'll set the rotaries to the levels on the mixer. So rotary 1 will take level for channel 1, and 2, 2, 2. It's a lot of 2's in one sentence. And level 3 on rotary 3. So now we have to get the sounds from Reason into Ableton. So just like before, we're going to create an external instrument, do exactly what we did before, set the MIDI to Reason, combinator 1, and audio from channel 1 and 2. Should be able to get some sounds. There you have it. Now, we still want the control that we had with the other method. So here's how we're going to do it. With a Max for Live plugin, external MIDI control. This is really handy for being able to control things inside of Reason from Ableton. And I just like the look and feel of Ableton and for the workflow for me. So good job, Max for Live. So you're probably wondering what I'm doing now. So these controls right here, these CCs, the way that they're routed for a combinator is that the rotary starts in 71 and moves up through the buttons through 78. So right here, C1 is 71, goes to rotary 1. C2 is for rotary 2, so I hit 72, and you just go right on down the line. So now that I have all this routed correctly, if I turn control knob number 1, should be turning rotary 1 in Reason. And that's why we set it up the way we did before. So the rotaries have access to the level, and the buttons have access to the mute inside of the mixer that we created. So let's double check that. Moving the rotary number 1 with control 1 here in Ableton. And if we scroll down, we should see changes in the level of channel 1. There it is, moving up and down. Very nice. And so now the mute buttons are not controlled by encoders. They're controlled by buttons. So these little knobs right here are going to activate as on-off switches. So if I scroll up here, you'll notice that if I just flip it all the way over, turns the mute button on from button 1 that I controlled inside the combinator. And don't forget, of course, you can MIDI map that external MIDI control. So top right, hit that MIDI key right there. And let's go ahead and clear out our previous MIDI mappings. And we're going to set up these controls right here. So set an encoder to controls 1, 2, and 3. And set a button for 5, 6, and 7 since they're just on-off switches. Boom, boom, boom. And now should be able to turn those on and off. Look over at Reason, those buttons are turning on and off. If I use the encoder, should be able to turn it, except my MIDI controller is old and whack, and I should really just get another one. Or maybe I already have too many. Hard to say. Well, that's gonna do it. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If this video sucked, give it a thumbs down. Hit me up in the comments, let me know how I can make these better. But if this video did help you or another musician in your life, go ahead, give it a like, give it a share, and subscribe for more music tech tutorials. That's gonna do it for me, guys.